So Juan's like, who's the postdoc in my lab? Who should I study? Let's just pick number 1. It was an easy number to track in the freezers. And I'm like, run that sample on every system we have in the labs. So this was the first subject that entered our study. And then Juan finally got around to messing around with those samples. He looked at them. What we wanted to do was not invest too much manpower as well as financial resources into it. If there was nothing there, we wanted to move on to something bigger. And so we had blood before the event started, and we had blood 7 days into that event. So this, we figured, was if you're going to see a change. And so Juan looked at the before and after in these subjects, and he sent me a text with some pictures, and he said, this is unbelievable. There's some really, really mega changes. There was a biology that this subject created in a week of meditation that changes the surface of every biology that we've looked at.
There was tremolo in his voice. He said, dude, we have an effect. And that was even in this small group. There is a separation. There is a difference in what we're looking at. In that moment, we knew we're onto something. We knew there's an effect, and we knew we can measure that, and we knew the methodology that we're using is allowing us to do that.
Exosomes are a particular size particle that have unique components inside them. They can have proteins inside them, microRNAs, mitochondrial DNA, all kinds of nucleic material that's able to modulate the effect from one cell to the next, one organ to the next, one body part to the other body part. We noticed that in these meditators, there was this interesting increase in both the novice and experienced meditators in the size of particles that would be represented by exosomes. By having one microparticle or an exosome filled with a couple of microRNAs, you could regulate hundreds of downstream gene products and proteins that essentially affect how a cell behaves and regulates. The hypothesis that we came up with is when a meditator goes into their meditative space, the brain electrical activity leads to a dramatic change in the cell biology behavior of a neuron. And so if the brain is full of neurons during this elevated electrical activity, elevated emotion, the cell membrane, we hypothesize, potentially sheds pieces of that membrane and packages specific nucleic acid material to then allow that material to travel throughout the body, either through the blood-brain barrier or through cerebral spinal fluid, eventually reaching the bloodstream and being able to impact various organs within the body. This then leads to the release of a piece of the cell that packages information. This information, in the form of an exosome, with specific proteins, microRNAs, and other nucleic acid molecules, travels away from the neuron to, let's say, a cancer cell or a tumor somewhere in the body, and can manipulate the expression of genes and proteins and other things within that tumor to then change the behavior of that tumor cell.
When we look at the blood of 001, there's information in the blood that's really, really reflecting a greater level of order, a greater level of wholeness, a greater level of health.
This is what we may have captured in 001, this quasi-meditative, hibernative state that leads to an augmentation of factors in subject 001's blood, suggesting that there may be some components of hibernation that intertwine with the meditative experience. We only thought that certain types of animals could do this, but it turns out that humans potentially have the possibility of creating a hibernation-type state as well. Potentially, the body could go into almost a near-death-like state, and all of a sudden, something triggers, and you resurrect yourself almost instantly as if nothing happened.
Meditation is a great way to close your eyes and disconnect from the seduction of the outer environment. And as you close your eyes, less sensory information is coming back to your brain. Play some music that drowns the space so you don't hear the coffee maker and you don't hear the neighbor on his lawnmower. Your inner world starts changing. You're not eating, you're not smelling, you're not tasting, you're not feeling, and you're laboring to get beyond the emotions of your body, the habituations of these programs that want us to get up and check our cell phone, get up when we're too busy, or relive an emotion of the past and feel the feeling. The body wants to feel, and you're asking the body to sit still and not experience anything.
But of course, if you're not feeling anything, the question is, where does your consciousness go?